Pickle, it's Big Guest Thursday, so let's go to the hotline, and let's bring in the new head coach of the Brownsville Veterans Memorial Chargers. We are joined by Coach Kelley Lee. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm excellent. How are things in the beautiful Rio Grande Valley?
Things are great. Weather's nice, and we're getting to work a little football, so couldn't be happier.
Fantastic. I'll ask you a question that I bet you've answered 100,000 times, but I'm gonna make you answer it 100,001. You were over at Eastern New Mexico University. You were coaching the Greyhounds there. You are the most successful coach in Eastern New Mexico University history. There are a lot of guys that coaching in the college ranks is the dream. You have made the move from Eastern New Mexico to go take over at Brownsville Veterans Memorial. I guess my question is, why? Why was that the right move for you?
Well, I think during COVID, it was a good time for some reflection, and I got to spend a lot of time with my family. And my roots are kind of in high school football. My father was a Hall of Fame high school coach, so I grew up around that. And I coached high school before I went to college, and my wife and I really kind of missed that and wanted the opportunity to get back into it. And then, but I still wanted to coach football at a really competitive level. So then that leads you to Texas high school football, right? And this is a part of the country that we had spent some time in and vacationed in, and really loved the culture and the people. And when this job came open, I knew that it was not only a strong football program, but a great athletic program, be an athletic coordinator, and a fantastic school system for my children to go to. So, all those things kind of weighed into it. And the more we looked at it, the more we were sold. And then we made the move.
So you're taking over a program here at Brownsville Vets that has been on a last year took a step back, but you are no stranger to turnaround stories. You took over Eastern New Mexico and took them obviously to new heights. Before that, you were at Valencia High School there in New Mexico and turned a program that was kind of down in the dumps and turned them into a winner over with 3 playoff appearances. I guess my question is it a matter of simply doing the same thing, of going through, and is there a whole process behind a turnaround, or is it a matter of reading the situation?
I think there's a little bit of reading the situation, and I don't think this one's maybe as big a turnaround as some. I think we got to get back on track for sure, and then see what we need to do to take it to the next level and try to compete maybe outside of the valley, in playoffs and things like that. But I think the process is the same. I think it's a everyday process, and it starts with your culture, and you got to coach your culture, and of course you got to get your schemes in and your coaches in place. But I think it's day to day, and you got to coach that culture and that attitude and stuff every day. And if you do that and you're consistent, my experience is that the wins will fall into place, and you'll have the success that you hope for.
You got hired about 6 weeks ago. You arrived there on campus. I'm interested in what you told your guys the first time that you met them. I mean, you're a guy who's, coming from out of state. You're showing up. These guys, may not know who you are. What was your message to your players the first time you addressed them as head coach?
Well, I just kind of outlined what our expectations were, not only, our mission statement, but what we expected from the culture from them as far as practice in games, things like that in the classroom, in the community, and just kind of gave them our vision for where we wanted to go, and told them how we were going to help them get there, and then outline the schedule for how we were going to do that and get started with our weights and our off-season program. And the kids have been great. They bought in, and they've been working their tails off.
We're talking with Kelley Lee, the new head coach of the Brownsville Veterans Memorial Chargers here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, #TF Today. Coach, for folks who maybe haven't watched a ton of Eastern New Mexico football, can you give fans an idea of what a Kelley Lee coach team looks like? What can Chargers fans expect from your vet squad?
Well, I think everywhere we've been, kids playing with great effort. We coach effort, we grade effort, we preach effort. So, we're going to be physically and mentally tough. We're going to play with great effort. We're old school. We run a version of the flex bone offense, so we're triple option oriented, and I think that breeds toughness in your team. And we're going to play sound defense, and we're going to try to get after the quarterback. So physical, old school football. very disciplined players who play extremely hard and play with great emotion and enthusiasm. We really want the games to be about the kids. The practices, that can be about the coaches and the schemes and the process, but we want those kids to be so prepared when it comes game time. They can go out and have fun, play with a lot of effort, passion, and emotion and enthusiasm.
I want to follow up on your offense, because I'll admit I've got your questionnaire for the 2021 Summer Edition, Dave Campbell's Texas Football here. Thank you, Coach. I appreciate you.
You got it.
You list your offensive formation as ground strike. Can you explain
Yeah,
to me what is that?
We're the antithesis maybe of the air raid, right? We're the ground strike, and we're a flex bone team. If we looked like Army or Navy, but some of our players actually came up with that one year. They named it. We want to call our offense the ground strike, so we started calling it that, and that's just kind of become our identity, who we are. We're a flex bone team. I think we set the Lone Star Conference record for the most rushes in a single season last year, 770 times. So we run the ball, but really what we're known for is being an option offense that throws the ball really well. So that's kind of who we are. We really think of our run game as and our pass game as something that works together. And we like to set up the big play and have those big play passes. We were throwing some Kelley today, and our one of our defense coaches said, "We don't throw too many short passes, do we, Coach?" I said, "No, when we throw it, we mean it." And we're not trying to throw for first downs; we're trying to throw for touchdowns. So but if to the average fan, we'd look very much like maybe Georgia Tech used to look, or Army or Navy. That style of offense.
You love to see it. I want to ask you a little bit about your personnel this year. I know you're in the start of practice. You're starting to get to know your guys. Have you figured out quite yet what kind of kids you got down there? Have you figured out quite yet where the strength of this team may lie in 2021?
Yeah, I think we've got some really good leadership on our older kids that are returning. I think that's a strength, and I think we're going to go as far as our offense and defensive line will take us. I think the schemes that we are implementing is going to really take advantage of their skill sets, being able to be physical, get off the ball. We got good strength, good size, and good quickness for big kids. So I think that's really going to be our strength. And just we got good, disciplined kids. I've been able to push them, coach them hard, and they've responded. So I think attitude's going to be one of our big selling points too. Is I think we're going to have a great attitude coming out practice every day, and when you have that, you're going to get better week to week.
Finally, one more question for the new head coach of the Brownsville Veterans Memorial Chargers, Kelley Lee, here on Texas Football Today. Coach, you're a native New Mexican. You went to Hot Springs High School. You went to Western New Mexico. You were a coach at Midland College for a year in the NAIA. But you're a native New Mexican. New Mexico's known for a couple of things. One thing is that it's a great food state. You guys got good food out there in New Mexico. We do. You're also moving to the Rio Grande Valley, which is a great food place.
Fantastic.
Right.
Can you say, I'm just gonna put you on the spot. Did that have any role in you taking the job? Looking around and looking at the food scene.
I don't know if it had a role, but it is definitely not a negative. Some of these coaches have been taking me to different places every day at lunch when we can, and I haven't eaten at a bad one yet. I'll tell you that.
He's Kelley Lee. He's the new head coach of the Brownsville Veterans Memorial Chargers. Coach, really appreciate your time. Congratulations again on the new gig. Welcome to Texas. Can't wait to see what your Chargers do.
Thank you. I really appreciate you talking to us, and go Chargers.
There he goes. Kelley Lee, head coach, the Brownsville Veterans Memorial Chargers here on Texas Football Today.